You know what I just realized? I've been making musical intros for my regular government classes videos, but I have not done that once for you guys. Why? Well, usually you guys are the last video of the week I make, and I'm pretty tired by then and I don't feel like making a musical intro. But you know what? You guys deserve it. Here's a little something I did from back when it was legal to get a haircut. Cue the intro. Welcome to week 4 of distance learning. I think it's week 4. So, College Board has released what the rubric is going to be for the FRQs this year. The scenario application FRQ is pretty much going to remain the same, and it's still out of 3 points. The argumentative essay rubric has some changes to it, and after reviewing the rubric, I've decided to make some changes to the rubric I'll be using to grade your practice argumentative essays. The argumentative essay this year is worth 7 points, and like I previously mentioned, you'll have about 20 minutes to write it. Now, after reviewing your responses to the practice FRQs and seeing what we could use some help on, I decided I would assign you 3 ed puzzles this week that are videos made by another AP Gov teacher who has far more experience than me at teaching students strategies for FRQs. Plus, he's a grader for the exam, so he knows what's up. Not to mention, this guy has like a really calming, soothing voice. Now, before you watch the ed puzzles this week, please go back and look at the feedback that I gave you on last week's FRQs to kind of give you an idea where you're at going into this week. Now, there is an order I would like you to go in for the ed puzzles. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. But the first one I do want you to do looks at the verbs that are used in the questions and prompts and explains what exactly they're looking for you to do. I noticed last week that some of you were identifying where it asks you to describe or explain something, and you didn't always close the loop and relate it back to the scenario. Now, if I asked you to describe your ideal vacation and you just said Florida, well, that's not really a description. Rather, if you said my ideal vacation is going to a sunny beach where it's warm and has lively and vivacious boardwalk that I can do stuff at each night, that's my ideal vacation. Well, that's a description. And I know I've told you guys before that they're not looking for you to write a big long novel or anything, and that you can keep it short, sweet, and to the point, but at the same time, you can't be a lazy writer when it comes to these. You've got to relate things back, use the phrase, and do what they're asking you to do. The second ed puzzle I'd like you to do focuses on the scenario application FRQ for this year and provides more guidelines on how they're going to grade it, as well as some strategies you can use. In fact, it uses one of the example questions that we used last week. So if you want to use your response to that question and kind of compare it to what this guy is saying, might not be a bad idea, and try to grade yourself. The third ed puzzle is probably the most important one. That's the one that focuses on the argumentative essay for this year, and again, provides examples, it provides strategies and guidelines for how they're going to grade it this year. Lastly, after you've watched all the ed puzzles, I want you to work on this week's practice scenario application. It's called FRQ 7. It's on the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, and the practice argumentative essay, FRQ 8, which is on free speech zones. Both of those are in Google Classrooms, and you only have those 2 practice FRQs this week. I think I loaded a lot on you guys last week, and it was a lot for me to grade as well. So we're just going to do 2 practice ones this week, and make sure you do the ed puzzles as well. So to recap that, for those of you that may have completely zoned out here in the last minute, 3 ed puzzles. 1 is on description and explanation and the different verbs that are used in the questions. The second ed puzzle focuses on the scenario application FRQ, and the third ed puzzle I want you to complete focuses on the argumentative essay FRQ. Then after that, I want you to complete 2 practice FRQs. First one, FRQ 7, that's a practice application one, and then FRQ number 8, which is an argumentative essay. Those are in Google Docs and Google Classroom, and make sure you complete everything, all 5 assignments, by Friday night. Lastly, it's a good idea to start looking over some of your chapter outlines. Remember, last week I posted a video, and that video, by the way, is still on YouTube on my channel if you want to check it out, that goes over specifically what content that we went over this year that might pop up on that exam. So I would go ahead and start reviewing your chapter outlines, plus it might help you do better on the practice FRQs as well. As always, if you need anything, drop me a comment in Google Classroom or shoot me an email. Oh, and here's some videos that review the required documents and some other stuff you might want to go over this week and in the coming weeks. If I did this right, they should be popping up here and there or there and there.